Hey everyone, here today with the Meepo Classic. This was on sale a few weeks ago for St. Patrick's Day for only $369. It is a $399 budget skateboard, electric skateboard. So super excited to dig into this one. Let's go ahead and get into the unboxing, take a look at what's in the box, and then we'll go ahead and get outside and take it for a ride. So for starters, this does come double wrapped, which is nice. Protects the interior box pretty well. So let's go ahead and get this outer wrapper off real quick. You can see that you do get a nice box with a handle. Good for just kind of heaving it around. Make sure you hold on to your box in case you ever need to send your board back for any warranty work, anything like that. This is a drop-through deck, and the ESC and battery do sit pretty low to the ground, which we'll see. It is warranted for 6 months, but just in case you need to get something done with it, nice to have the options and be able to get those things where they need to be. So let's go ahead and open this up and take a look and see what we got. So you do have access to a quick start guide. It does call out a couple things on here, so things like a removable battery, the charging board, the ESC, battery display, on-off switch, everything like that. Got a nice warning label. Please remember, always wear a helmet, proper safety equipment, all those good kinds of things. So step one, we've got our board and remote, which we're going to go ahead and get charged. We're going to wear our helmet, adjust the trucks, play with the remote, and go for our first electric ride. So I've already done a bunch of this, gone ahead and charged it up and got it ready to go. So let's take a look at what we've got in here. So we'll start with the board itself. It's got a great shape to it. This being my first exposure to an electric skateboard, you read about the weight, things like that online. It is heavy. This is a beefy deck, but that's a good thing. We can see that it's pretty solidly built. We'll go ahead and take a look at flex on the deck and things in just a little bit. If we flip it over here and look underneath real quick, so you do have Meepo's custom shredder trucks, which are nice, kind of the Meepo take on that. Remember, just because you see orange on the bushing, things like that, doesn't actually speak to Durameter or anything else. So, we'll take a look at the trucks, get those tightened up, ready to go. You do have ESC in the back, battery sitting up here in the front. If I go ahead and hold this up here real quick, you can actually see how close that's going to be to the ground when we're up and on it. So there certainly is the potential that we'll go ahead and get it dinged. And like I said, I actually took this one out of the box a little bit earlier and took it for a spin. And even just around my neighborhood, I did catch small scratches, things like that. Again, you've got a 6-month warranty, so you might want to take Meepo up on that. So far, everything looks just kind of like surface scratches. The charging port here does feel not the most premium thing, but we're talking about a budget board here, so that's okay. Specifically, that little rubber cap that goes over the end of it there. You've got braided cords over your controllers for the hub motors, sending everything back, which is all good there. These are pretty beefy hub motors, so we're looking at 90mm wheels here. Urethane on the front is 78A, so you might want to adjust that at some point if you want to, but we're kind of locked into the sleeves that are sitting here on the back. Like I said, it's a heavy board. Nice thing about hub motors is we can push if the board dies, so we do have that option, but this thing is so heavy, I would not want to be pushing it for long speeds at all. So if we take a look down here in the bottom, you can see we have the on-off switch for the board itself, along with the battery display. So that's going to be important. This board does not have the features of some of the other Meepo boards. So this ESC is the Hobbywing ESC. So it does not have things like push start. So we've got to go ahead and, we might just drop it on the ground and go ahead and push it to start it up. Instead, we've got to hit the button, start this up, and start the remote up as well. But that's not a bad thing. Again, we're talking a budget board. I picked this one up for $370. Standard running rate right now is $400. Meepo has said that might go up in the future. So if you're interested in one of these, it might be worth checking out for you. So let's go ahead and just kind of move the board off to the side there for a second. Take a look at what else we get in the box. So you've got this little cardboard box. Inside of there, we've got a couple of different things that you might be interested in. So in the white box here, you have access to your charger. So you've got the cable and the power brick itself. Pretty standard brick. This does get pretty hot when it's charging, pretty hot to the touch, but it does have a nice little indicator on it. So when it's red, your board is charging. When you've gone to green, you're all up and ready to go. You are going to need the charger with this board. So I've got just the regular standard battery in here. I didn't opt for the Sanyo battery. So I'm probably looking at maybe 9, 10, 11 miles of range. I weigh about 150 pounds, so if you're more than that, your mileage might vary, but we'll certainly go ahead and take a look at range and all that good stuff over time. So let's go ahead and just toss that to the side for the moment. We'll take a look at the remote here real quick. So standard Hobbywing ESC, again, has pretty good play in the remote. If you've ever played around with a boosted board or maybe a friend's, things like that, it's not that, but it is just a standard Hobbywing controller. So it does have a good throw to it. It's actually pretty sensitive, so you can absolutely run this thing up, accelerate up quite quickly on this board, and have it kick out underneath you, and you'll go flying. But we'll take a look at that a little bit more when we go ahead and ride. The other thing to note on this particular remote is it does have forward and reverse. So forward is button up, reverse is button down. That's great. With the board set up that way, you're not going to accidentally hit the reverse button. So that is a good thing, particularly if you're inexperienced. So now we have dedicated acceleration and dedicated braking. We'll take a look at the braking when we go out for a ride a little bit more. Other than that, it is a standard remote. So we have power on and off. So let's go ahead and hit that real quick. We'll go ahead and hit the board here as well. Go ahead and light that up. So it does have a couple of different speed modes. So if I hit the speed mode button there, I can see I'm in speed mode 1, a little bit faster speed mode 2, and a little bit faster for speed mode 3. And like I said, they go ahead and they run up pretty quickly here. So wheels are pretty good, hubs are nice and silent. Hopefully they continue to kind of go and run those modes. And high speed there. So you do get a nice little whir out of them. But that's the nice thing about hubs is they are nice and quiet. Pretty good stopping there. You do have extra pads in case you ever want to do a deck swap. So one for the ESC, one for the battery. So those are all nice, well and good to have. You do have a manual. I recommend you go and read the manual, particularly if you've never ridden one of these before. Unfortunately, they do not include information for the classic remote or for this Hobbywing ESC. So it only shows you the information for the current NR remote and the V2 remote from things that are on other Meepo boards today. But that's okay. Like I said, this thing is pretty standard. Not too bad to go ahead and get used to. There are a couple things you're going to want to note in the manual. So I see lots of e-skate videos where folks do not wear a helmet. always wear a helmet. Recommend any other safety equipment that you think you're going to need. Certainly, make sure that you go out, get yourself something to protect your noggin. You're going to need that. So outside of that, you do have a little bag here which comes with business cards inside it. So most people look at that and they go, why would I need business cards, or what's up with that? So a little QR code on the back, just a link to the Meepo site, things like that. You might want to carry business cards with you because if somebody asks about your board and what it is, just give them a card. Great way for Meepo to advertise, and a great way for you to maybe save yourself from explaining the same thing over and over again. There is a purpose to that. Yeah, it's a little bit viral, but that's okay. You've got another little bag in here as well. So it includes a micro USB cable. That's what you're going to use to go ahead and charge the remote. And then you also have access to a little LED light down here. Again, just micro USB, but you'll be able to snap that to your board and have a LED light in the front or the back, something like that. A couple different tools that you have available to you. There is a hex key. So this hex key will be for working with the battery and the ESC. If you ever have to from the front, and then a standard skate tool to go ahead and get everything else done that you need to with the board. You are probably going to want to tighten these trucks up if it's anything like the one that came from me. Like I said, I'm pretty light, and I would like to carve along with this thing. That being said, even on the low speed mode, when you get up to speed, I do get speed wobble on this. So I've had to go in and tighten them up just a little bit, but to give you the tool, you're all set, ready to go with that. Couple of stickers, and we're done. Let's go for a ride.